Giridvaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Chamuradira Vanachari. Chamuradira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Chamuradira Vanachari. Chamuradira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Janaranjana. Chamuradira Vanachari. Chamuradira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Chamuradira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Gaur Premanande Haribo Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Virata Kataya Asto Sati Divine Loving Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyama Kundu Radha Kundgiri Govardhana Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Chamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulosi Deva Ki Jai Bhakti Deva Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Nitya Gaura Premanande Haribo. All glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to Shiguru and Shivaranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Nice to be back again. This time last year, was we here? Was it last year or the year before? Magnificent temple, beautiful deities, beautiful Simba-san for Prabhupada as well. Breathtaking. See? Hare Krishna. So let's begin with your permission. Try to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so continuing to read the Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 1, Text 17. That's correct? 11.1.17. Okay, excuse me. Find 11. So you've gone through all the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, huh? So now you're on the 11th canto. We completed about 4 years ago, perhaps 3 years ago in London. We went through the whole Bhagavatam. Now we're on the second canto. Perhaps I won't be around by the time we finished it. Okay, so 11.1.17. Okay, 16, 17. Here we are. Okay. Chatrudvate ti santrashta trasta vimuchya sahashodaram shambhasya dat vishushchasmin mushalam kalo ayashmayam Chatrudvate ti sandrashta vimuchya sahasodharam shambhasya dhat vishushchasmin mushalam kalo ayashmayam Chatrudvate ti santrashta vimuchya sahasodharam shambhasya tat vishushchasmin Moshalam kalu ayashmayam. Vaishnavas. Tatrudvatiti santrashta vimucha shahasodaram sambhasya tatvishushchasmin mushalam kalu ayushmayam. Chutva tatrudvateti santrashta vimucha shahasodaram sambhasya tatvishushchasmin mushalam kalu ayushmayam. Vaishnavis. Chadvute te santantrashta vimucha shahasodaram sambhasya tatvishushchasmin mushalam kalu ayushmayam. Tatrudvateti santrashta vimucha shahasodaram sambhasya tatvishushchasmin mushalam kalu ayushmayam. Okay, word and translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Tat, that. Shrutva, having heard. Te, they. Atisantrashtaha, extremely afraid. Vimucha, uncovering. Sahasha, hastily. Udharam, the belly. Shambhasya, of Shamba. Datrushu, they saw. Tasmin, within it. Mushalam, a club. Kalu, indeed. Ayomayam, made of iron. Okay, translation. Upon hearing the curse of the sages, the terrified boys quickly uncovered the belly of Shamba, and indeed they observed that therein was an iron club. Please repeat. Upon hearing the curse of the sages, the terrified boys quickly uncovered the belly of Shamba, and indeed they observed that therein was an iron club. Purport. Upon hearing the words of the Vaishnavas headed by Narada, the Yadu boys lifted the garment covering Shamba's abdomen and saw the fruit of the offence that they had committed against Vaishnavas by their deceit. An actual club was there to destroy their dynasty. This example shows that in a polluted society, the club of duplicity can never bring the peace found in the society of devotees. Rather, such duplicity smashes all the non-devotional activities and whimsical doctrines of the pseudo-devotees. The Yadu boys were wary about jeopardizing their advanced position, and indeed had been thinking that as long as they kept their trickery concealed, others would never be able to detect such sophisticated cheating. Nonetheless, they were unable to protect their family from the reaction of their grievous offense against the devotees of the Lord. Om Agyanatimarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshumulitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Let's read the verse again. Tatvudva teti santrashta vimuchya sahashodaram shambhasya tat vishushtasmin mosalam kalu ayushmayam. Upon hearing the curse of the sages, the terrified boys quickly uncovered the belly of Shamba, and indeed they observed that therein was an iron club. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vacharine Nivasishya Sunyavadi Prashtatara Satani. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So this is a often described, I think Prabhupada describes, and also Jiva Goswami describes, that this Moshala Leela, which is the destruction of the Yadu dynasty, is a magical display, unprecedented magical display in the Lord's pastimes, indicating that it was all going on under the arrangement of the internal energy of the Lord. There is nothing material about the Yadus killing each other. Sounds contradictory. Yeah? So in other words, everything is controlled by the potencies and therein the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And and that's why it's described, Janma Kama Chame Divyam Evam Yovati Trakvataha Trakvatiham Puna Janma Netimam Etaso Chuna. One who understands the transcendental activities, the Lord's so-called Janma and so-called Karma, one who actually understands, they are devotees who can understand actually what is going on. So the transcendental activities, Krishna's birth and activities, they do not take birth again, because they have understood that the Lord is completely transcendental and ultimately everything is controlled by Him. Yeah. Sometimes, or often, in the immediate sense of the term, it's sometimes difficult to understand the Lord's hand, yeah, in world events or even our own personal lives. Yeah. Often in retrospect, when we look back, we can perhaps reflect and perhaps can conclude, yes, that was the Lord's arrangement. I couldn't appreciate it at the time, but where I am now and looking back, yes, we may have had doubts at the time. Yeah, that's why one of the one of the ingredients to advance in spiritual life, very important, is Shraddha, yeah, faith. Yeah, you need faith even to walk into a Hare Krishna temple. Yeah, you need some level of faith. Yeah, and then further, by hearing from those who have faith, then we increase our faith, yeah, in that which is not perceivable by our material senses. In other words, the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the existence of a transcendental world beyond this one, yeah, based on faith. And that faith, if we practice our devotional service or with that faith, then because we have that faith, Krishna can reveal the reality. Yeah? So faith is something which has to increase or will increase in association of devotees. It's not something static. Yeah. So to the extent of events that are happening, to have faith that there is some type of reasoning behind this. It may not match our reasoning, but the fact that this course of events has happened, that is indicative of the influence of time, which is indicative of the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. So sometimes things may seem unfair, unjust, and just not right. But it happens in association of devotees, in world events. Sometimes we scratch our head. Why? How? What? This is going on. So sometimes if we can't understand, we just have to practice this mudra. My Lord, I can't understand. It is everything is in your control. Yeah. Let's just take, for example, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, then we have the story of the seventh canto and Hiranyakashipu. Yeah, a great evil, demonic person. Yeah, who was controlling not just this Bhoma or Bhumi, but he was controlling all the universes. Yeah, an evil person who wanted to kill Vishnu. How could he be a ruler? If the Lord is in control, how is it happening? Yeah. The Lord wants the devotees to control the world. Why? Because they can instruct the populace on the principles of piety and ultimately liberation. That's why the whole Battle of Kurukshetra took part, so that Yudhisthira, a righteous devotee, could be the emperor. But in Srimad Bhagavatam we hear how Hiranyakashipu, for example, was ruling all the universes. And we could go to Ravana as well. Of course, we know the ultimate destination. But for the point, can we imagine what it must be like living in the kingdom of Hiranyakashipu? Well, perhaps we can. Because a lot of the leaders in the world are not so pious, you know. So we're getting a little taste of it. Can you imagine Hiranyakashipu? Yeah. He actually, I think he took pleasure in, if he wanted to kill Vishnu, certainly had no regard to the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas. And certainly he gave them, tried to kill them in many ways. Yeah, and did kill them. Yeah, but we should never doubt that the Lord is in control. Yeah, the Lord is in control. Yeah. So you can imagine the situation where there is no pious activities going on. Yeah, and what is it? Even Hiranyakashipu, that an impious activity or something like that would actually give a good result. He completely turned the law of the universe upside down. How can such a demonic, evil person, how can you allow him to control all the universes? How is it? Why? But if someone who has faith, we can't understand it. There must be a plan of the Lord. Yeah. Let's just continue chanting japa. Let's just continue our devotional activities. Yeah. Okay. We cannot fathom or understand. And then we see what a wonderful unfolding of a wonderful adventure and such a wonderful pastime. Such an exciting pastime, isn't it? Such an exciting pastime that was the Lord's plan. Yeah. So even today, I think this happened in a previous kalpa when the Lord appeared as Nrsimhadev. So thousands of years. So now we're in Kali Yuga. We know of this pastime, and we love reading about this pastime. So that's the purpose of the Lord. So He's a great orchestrator of His Leela. Of course, it's His internal energy. So it arranges these wonderful Leelas to create a wonderful excitement that attracts us. Yeah, can you imagine the scene when, or well, we know the seventh. Especially, we could take it further when Prahlad, a great devotee, pure, unadulterated devotee, no envy exists in his heart for anyone. Such a wonderful, pure soul. And he's being tortured by his father. Yeah, he's being abused in so many ways by his father. Of course, we know he was protected throughout. But Prahlad had faith. He had great faith in the Lord. Yeah? And that's one of the lessons to be learnt from that. Yeah. So imagine saying when Prahlad is being thrown into a vat of boiling oil, drop him, his son, tender skin. Huh? How old was Prahlad? Young boy. Drop him, no. Throw him off the cliff. Tried to call him. So if someone says, it's okay, it's the plan of the Lord. You what? It's the plan of the Lord. We've got to stop this guy. Difficult. Yeah. No, there's a plan here. There's a plan here. And how wonderfully unfolded. How Prahlad was completely fearless. When everyone would shake by seeing Hiranyakashipu, especially if he called for you in his court. Like Sanda and Amaka were trying to teach Prahlad, but Prahlad wasn't such a good student for him. So he called them, so they were very nervous. Yeah. So the inconceivable, the plans of the Lord are so vast, and we're so small. So there's things happening now in place in order to affect the activities and the atmosphere in 100 years from now, in 200 years from now. There's things which are happening. Yeah? Which are happening. Yeah. We see that also. We see that there's devotees, that wonderful Vaishnavas, powerful Vaishnavas who are such an asset to the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They died. Yeah? Tamal Krishna Maharaj died in a car crash. What's going on? Such a wonderful Vaishnava, such a powerful Vaishnava, such an intelligent devotee. Yeah? Gone. Yeah? Why? Plan of the Lord. Yeah. The Lord has some plan. Yeah. What's he doing now? And others as well. Back to Tirtha Maharaj, we go on. So many great Vaishnavas have died and different, etc. But we have to have that faith. Oh, this is the plan of the Lord. Yeah. This is the plans of nothing happens without his sanction. It's interesting. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he gave class in, he was based in London at some point doing his studies, and he would come for class occasionally. And he was speaking about the, we had in the, no, let's take the example of New York. They had a big skyscraper, no? Big skyscraper temple. Prabhupada was so transcendentally proud of that. Transcendentally proud. Yeah. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj brought up the discussion in the class. Was it Krishna's arrangement or not? As far as he was concerned, it was not Krishna's arrangement. It was our foolishness. That was his conclusion. So we have to be careful how we apply this understanding as well. Some persons can use this, some persons, like for instance, Duryodhana, he, Narada Muni, all the great sages, they tried to convince him of his wrongdoing. But his conviction was, everything is in control of destiny. I am just a hands in destiny, so it is destiny that the Pandavas are banished. That was the effect of his demonic nature. But actually, going up, retrospect, it was. He was right. But for him to state that was irreligious. It gets quite Dharma. It gets a bit. You have to study each specific situation. Yeah. Then also another instance as well where another great devotee of the Lord, Maharaj Parikshit. Yeah, Maharaj Parikshit. Yeah. Unadulterated devotee of the Lord. Yeah. As you know, he saw the Lord. He saw the Lord within the womb. He was protected by the Lord. Yeah. Wonderful. Huh? Anyone have that experience when we're in the womb of our mother? No. No, we don't know what the hell's going on. So, he was born as a great devotee, and he was a great devotee, he is a great devotee, and his heart is completely free from all malice, free from all envy, free from the influence of lust, anger, and greed. Yeah, Maharaj Parikshit come from a great dynasty. Yeah, and then he goes out touring. It's in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. Goes out touring, and he's at one point he becomes thirsty. He's tired, and he goes into the hermitage of Shomaka Rishi, and Shomaka Rishi is there. He's in a stage of smaran, which is called samadhi. Yeah, that's a stage where you're not aware of external situation. Yeah, if you're in samadhi meditation, you're not even aware that you're in the USA. You're not aware you're in a temple room. You're not aware. You're completely. Your thoughts are all internal, and you have no idea. Externally, samadhi. Yeah. So Maharaj Parikshit came in, and of course he's a king, so he accepts some reception. Okay, then this is a sage. He hasn't got such means for big royal reception, but at least a drink of water, at least a seat, at least some sweet words. Nothing. Shomaka was samadhi. So unprecedented, unbecoming of a great devotee, he became angry, so envious or perhaps angry at this non-reception from the king, the emperor, or by Shomaka to the emperor. Not even a glass of water, not even some sweet words, not even to offer idamasanam, no seat, nothing. Yeah. So then he got a snake, a lifeless snake, a dead snake. He put the snake around the neck of Shomaka Rishi. Now you're supposed to put garlands around the neck of sages, okay? I'm not a sage, but I'm giving class, so you shouldn't give me a snake. Gave me a garland, yeah? So Mars Picture has been a little bit, quite an envious thing to do, isn't it? Not such a good thing to do. You get a snake. You're supposed to put a flower garland around the Brahman. Huh? He's got a snake. A snake. So his anger or his frustration was orchestrated, inconceivable, orchestrated by the Lord within his heart. Yeah, the Lord had a plan. The Lord had a plan. Amazing. And that plan was that we could sit here in Chicago, 2025. What's the date today? Yeah. So we can be Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. There's the Lord's plan. He had a plan ahead for Kali. Yeah. So this world, Kali's coming. Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dhamma Gana Dvisa Karuna Dvisham Isha Pranaka Anoditaha. He had a plan that Kali's coming. It's bad. Yeah. And I'm leaving. We need Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, the Lord orchestrated the pure devotee's emotions. Amazing, isn't it? They were pure. It's unbecoming. Such a. And Maharaj Parikshit had doubts when he was going back on the horse. He was going back when he was going back, and because he's a saintly person, Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that when a saintly person does a wrong activity, they feel repentant. Oh, was that right? Yeah, immediately someone who's a devotee, they feel repentful. Oh, actually, I said that like this in that way to that devotee. I don't think it was. Oh my God! So Maharaj Parikshit felt like that. He started having doubts about what he's done. Was he really in samadhi? Was he feigning or not? Or not? Wasn't he? Yeah. Then eventually the news came to him. Yeah, the news was brought to him. And we know, as a great devotee, his reaction to being cursed, as we know, the Shringi, Shomaka Rishi's son, cursed him. What time we finish? 8:30, yeah. So Shomaka, his son, Shringi cursed him to die within 7 days. Yeah. But the whole thing was orchestrated by Krishna. Yeah. He's becoming overcome with envy. So we shouldn't be so fast to. This is how the Lord uses his devotees in the world. Yeah, he uses his pure devotees in the world, and he manifests certain emotions within that. So we shouldn't. We are conditioned souls, so we're quite affected by the external energy of the Lord. So we shouldn't think everything we do. The reason I'm angry, Prabhu, because the Lord is in control of my emotions. Therefore, you should get. That might not be the case. You should be very careful. Yeah, great devotees can use anger, for instance, in the service of the Lord. We should be very careful. Hanuman used anger. Yeah, we should be very careful. Yeah, Hanuman used anger. So, the Lord actually manifesting specific emotions within the devotee's heart. Yeah. And there's so many instances of this which seem so-called reversals, and then we get to this whole pastime itself, Moshula Leela, the destruction of the Yadu dynasty. Yeah. Another example is Arjuna, like Maharaj Parikshit, a great unadulterated devotee of the Lord. Arjuna, a great unadulterated devotee of the Lord, such an intimate friendship with Krishna, Sakya, Rasa, such a sweet, intimate relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. Completely aware of Tattva as a pure devotee, completely aware of Dharma, yeah. Ultimately, completely surrendered to Krishna. Yeah. And then we know this in Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, second chapter, where Arjuna becomes overwhelmed with the bodily concept of life, yeah, identifying himself, and therefore as a member of, based on familial relationships and all the emotions that go with that, yeah, which is based on the bodily concept of life. Yeah, he should be above all of that. Yeah. Yeah. But then, as by the arrangement of Krishna, interesting, Arjuna didn't just say, "Oh no, it's okay, Krishna. I don't really fancy taking part. I've got other things to do. Actually, I've got." It wasn't like that. Arjuna went through what we could say. You could say some type of breakdown. We call it nervous breakdown. It's perhaps not quite the same. But he had, for someone like him, someone so great like him, someone so great for him to be crying. He wasn't crying for fear. He was crying because he didn't know what to do. He had tears coming from his eyes. He was completely stupefied. When he was contemplating, he was seeing Bhishma, as we know the story, seeing Bhishma, Drona, yeah? And he was thinking in affection of Bhishma. His verse, it says that, you're asking me to kill, I should be offering these persons puja. Puja ahul hari sudanaha. O Madhusudana, I should be offering them puja. Why are you telling me to kill them? Again, his emotions and his illusion was all orchestrated by the Lord. Yeah? It was all orchestrated by the Lord. The whole drama, again, the Lord, these pastimes, something we don't understand why or how, it doesn't make sense. But the Lord's creating a wonderful Leela to attract our attention. As you know, the Mahabharata, it's a massive story. Yeah. And the essence of the Mahabharata is the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Everyone is, if you read Mahabharata and you follow the storyline, it draws you in to the battle. The whole thing is the battle. Eventually there has to be a battle. The whole thing is the battle. So everyone is concentrated on, wow, make a wonderful film. I think they've tried to make it. Bollywood have tried to do that. So everyone is focused, their attention is on. Especially Krishna is so exciting. When they blow the conches, and they're all charging. No, they didn't charge, did they, at that point? When they blew the conches, then Arjuna said, "Oh Mother, please draw my chariot in the midst of both armies, so I can see who is there, desiring to please the evil-minded son of the evil-minded Duryodhana, son of Dhritarashtra. Please." So, out of respect, although the conches were blown on both sides, they saw Arjuna make this move. And we know Arjuna comes. Krishna draws his chariot directly in front to incite Arjuna having a breakdown. He brings the chariot directly in front because this Kurukshetra, there's how many troops? I don't know, hundreds of millions of troops. So it's a massive battlefield. It takes about one whole day, 24 hours to get from one part of the battle. Massive. So he draws him directly in front of grandfather Bhishma. Just see, Bharata. Just see, all the Kurus here. So Arjuna looks, Then he starts having doubts. Yeah. So arranged by Krishna. Yeah. Just so. Dharmaksetta, Kuruksetta, Samavedi Yuksavaha, Mamaka, Pandavaschaiva, Kim Kuvata Samjaya. Just so we could hear Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Right in the very exciting part when they're just open, just before the fight, everyone's on their edge of their seat. Then Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Yeah. So rapt attention. Yeah. Again, Krishna's arrangement. Yeah. Because it's Krishna's arrangement because now we have Bhagavad Gita, as we mentioned, we have Srimad Bhagavatam. We have Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. That was the hope. So we in 2025 we can be reading Bhagavad Gita, we can be reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. Krishna's divine arrangement. Yeah, and so here, this pastime as well, the destruction of the Yadus, yeah, the destruction of the whole Yadu dynasty, yeah, and because being on the ground again, being there specifically is difficult to understand. Yeah, how, why, what, how is it that the Yadus, they're all familiar relationship with Krishna. They're all great devotees of Krishna. Yeah. How is it that they beat each other to death with these long stalks? They become drunk. by drinking putrefied wine or some rice or something. They became delirious. And even, it was at Krishna and Balaram were there as well, wasn't it? They was there with reason smashed. Yeah? Such a wonderful chain of events. So here you're hearing about Shamba, yeah, he was covering, he had this, So this is, it's described, it was just reading upstairs in the room I'm staying, there's the Kramasandava by Jiva Goswami in the 11th canto. It describes there that this is, this was the indication, this is the indication again of Kali, the same as Maharaj Shringi cursed Mars Pariksha. That's the Kali's in. Kali's got the foot in the door, to influence Shringi, So the Brahmins, to influence the downfall of Brahminical culture, and therefore all the other aspects of Vedic culture, they decline because of the Brahmanas, So again, here, specifically Shamba, and the sages, we can imagine the scene. Young boys are young boys, no? They like to have a joke. They like to have, like to play around, like to do things they shouldn't do. I guess young boys get excitement, but you don't mess with great sages. You don't joke with persons. Who's the great sages there? These are not just the sages there. There's Narada Muni's there. Who is it? He said these are the sages who they were cutting jokes with. Vaishnavas, they were. And this whole pastime highlights the catastrophic effect. Okay, the Lord's pastimes, but let's leave that aside for now. Let's see what other lessons. The catastrophic effect of ridiculing or offending Vaishnavas. Even to the extent that the whole of the Yadu dynasty was destroyed because of that. Okay, there's a plan of the Lord, but putting that aside, there's other lessons to be learned as well. So these sages who were there was Vishamrita. He's a pretty powerful person. Vishamrita, Asita, Kamba, Duvasa. Don't mess with Duvasa. Don't joke around with Duvasa Muni, whatever you do. There's so many. Bhrigu Muni, is it Bhrigu? Angira, Kashyapa, Vamadev. I don't know if it's Vamanadev, it might be a sage called Vamadev. Atri and Vashishta, along with Narad and others. That's who these young boys were messing around with. They were joking with. And there's a picture here. There's a wonderful picture with it. Standing there like that, this picture. Pronounce this curse, So then, there's another, this curse. And again, it's the arrangement of the Lord, which, who's not Ugras, who was the king at this time? Ugrasena? No. Well, the boys took the club, imagine their astonishment, the club, and they took it to the king. They didn't take it to Krishna, because they knew they had done something wrong, so they thought, well, let's take it to the king. He's trying to reverse destiny. He's trying to change destiny. You can't. There's some things which, there's everything, things that are controlled by the Lord. They're going to happen. They're going to take place. So you have to go with it sometimes. Sometimes you have to go along with it. But they try to go against it. So you might think the foolproof way, this club is going to destroy our dynasty. No problem. I got it sorted. Just grind it into dust. That's the end of it. No. Yeah, we know that. The dust then went into the sea, and then the water of that dust, and it went into the banks, and it grew into these reeds. And then fascinating. There was one piece left, which for us, they grind. It must have took some time, no, to grind an iron club. It's a lot of work. Don't know how they did it. They ground it to dust. But perhaps they took a bit longer. There's one piece left, so don't worry. There's one little piece left. Throw it in the river. Throw it in the sea. No problem. That one piece was used for the arrowhead, for the arrow that shot Krishna's foot. Yeah, it was swallowed by a fish. Who is it who shot the arrow at Krishna? Testing you now. I forget. Who is it who shot the arrow at Krishna at the end of his Leela? Huh? Say louder. Jara. A hunter called Jara. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So the fish, that's okay again. It was Krishna's arrangement that the fish swallowed the lump of iron. It was Krishna's arrangement that Jara, the hunter, got this fish, probably bought it from the market, no? Market to have some food, Then he thought, oh, this is great, I can use this as an arrow. Then the whole pastime unfolds, So, in this sense, sometimes we have to, often we have to try and put our faith that everything is in control of the Lord. Yeah. That will give us peace of mind. Often we cannot accept things, reversals or things that happen in the world or this and that. But ultimately, we have to, it becomes upon us to accept, this is the arrangement of the Lord. Faithful devotee. Tate nukumpum shikshamano punjna evatmam kipam vibhagan ridvag bhavavidi vidada namaste jiviti yo mukti pade sayabhag. So again, this is our devotee, this is our devotee, what's the word? How a devotee digests, or how a devotee comes to terms with reversals. I deserve a lot worse than this. Yeah, my Lord, you're so kind. Yeah, you're so kind. This, and we continue. We continue having faith in the Lord, having faith. Yeah, even when everything goes to pot, we should have faith in the Lord, and it will, in one sense, the path of spiritual life or the path of spiritual practice. We're going to be tested. Our faith's going to be tested. Yeah, or our faith's going to be strengthened. Yeah, Krishna's going to put us through, just like He put us through a lot of situations, preparing our consciousness. Yeah, He's going to put us through a lot of different situations which we wouldn't plan. Yeah, if we had the choice, if we had a piece of paper, okay, you've joined Krishna consciousness, right? So just plan out the next 20 years. Just write down exactly what you want to happen. What would we write down? All very good things, yeah? Would we write down reversals and disappointments and... No, we wouldn't write it down. Yeah, if this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and then they're going to go, yeah. They're not going to go back to Godhead in one life. Yeah. And there's the story as well, the story of... I'm just reading on the car coming here, the story of Bharat Maharaj, that whole story, 3 lives, he definitely didn't plan out, yeah, I'm going to get distracted by a deer, I'm going to get, yeah. Okay, we may not write reversals in our life, but Krishna has such a dear affection for us. He so much wants us back that He's going to write reversals so that we cry out for Him. Yeah, He's going to, sorry, it's not going to be like this, it's going to be like this. That's Krishna's kindness, That's why sometimes also when you go through reversals or difficult situations or can't understand some things going on, in the world or even at ISKCON society, it's good to speak with devotees. Yeah, good to speak those who are wise. Yeah, those who have wisdom. What do you think about this? This is not fair, Prabhu. What do you think about this? Well, it's like this, it's like that. Sometimes it's good. We should, raise some. It's good to. It's not bad thing to, with friends, to bring up doubts that you have. Yeah, friends, persons, or senior spiritual master. That's there. They can help. They can help bring us to the right understanding. Yeah, or at least send us in the right direction. So we'll stop there. Any questions or comments on these points? Hare Krishna, what Vaisheshika says, any reflections? Hare Krishna. Yes, Guruji. Oh, your hand was up.
Thank you for your class, Prabhuji. I have a question about from the main. In the Bhagavad Gita, the part where it speaks about one should not be a pretender.
Mitachara.
One should not be a pretender.
Mitachara, yeah. Mitachara, a pretender, yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering if you could maybe speak something about that. What does all that mean?
Well, one thing it is not. When we take up the path of devotional service, yeah, and we have quite high ideals. We are aiming for a pure heart. Yeah, it's quite a thing to aim for your heart to be pure. Now, as we practice devotional service, impurities are going to come. Impure motivations, impure desires. Yeah, it doesn't mean we're a pretender. That's not what a pretender is. We have to come to terms with our conditioned nature. Pretender is someone who has no desire, has no quest to actually have a pure heart. They're just cheaters. Out and outright cheaters. They dress in saffron or whatever just to befool the people, just to maintain themselves. Yeah. They're maintaining lusty desires, They don't, yeah. And they're just pretending to be sadhus. They're out and outright, you could say, hypocrites. They're not on the path of pure devotional service. So for us, it's quite good to reflect. That's why, when these impurities come to heart, we should identify them, and we take shelter of Krishna. Yeah. But sometimes devotees, in their humility, I'm just a mittacharya. No, so from a subjective point of view, a devotee in their humility may consider, my Lord, I'm just a cheater, But no, does it make sense? Is it that in the Bhagavad Gita it's speaking about those who are better be an honest sweeper, yeah, than a charlatan sadhu, yeah. There's some thoughts that come to mind on that. It's okay. Yeah. Yes.
Thank
you. So, in this particular verse of today, there was the situation of Shamba and these young boys attempting to do something that may appear humorous. Doing something that may appear to be humorous.
Yeah, humorous, yeah.
but as you pointed out, it wasn't actually appropriate to be joking with these very great sages and Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
So it becomes a question of etiquette in many ways, where there can be inappropriate behavior that happens, just not actually being conscious of proper etiquette. So I was just thinking about that. That often in situations that may arise that have some difficulty, the lack of awareness of etiquette may be the root cause. So I was just thinking about that.
That's a very good point. Thank you for bringing that out. Yeah, very good point. Culture, etiquette. Yeah. For example, considering a great sage, let's consider one of the leaders in our society. So someone's, say, spiritual master, and young children, cool boys, they laughing and joking. That would be wrong. They're too familiar. So perhaps a good point of etiquette is becoming too familiar with our specific position and role in society, becoming too familiar with great sages. So etiquette, yeah. So you could give a whole presentation here based on etiquette. They had overstepped etiquette. Yeah, they should joke among themselves. That's okay, but you don't joke with sages like Narada and Durvasa and Asita. That's like no, and the consequences pursued then. Yeah, so good point. Yeah, thank you for bringing that out. Etiquette. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay, we're Nishinka Vashapu. Any? Where's okay? Okay, thank you for kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Kishore Kishori ki jai, Gaunitai ki jai, Jagannath Subhadra ki jai, Nadagoda Premanandi Haribo. Hare Krishna. Yeah.